Hello, guys. Not Blue here, and we are going to do a tier list of the costumes and different looks from Deadpool and Wolverine over the years. So, this is everything live action. This does not include any animation or anything like that. So, we are going to hop into this with Deadpool because he is the first one in Deadpool and Wolverine. He is the first name. So, we are going to start this off with his first look from X-Men Origins. This fella. So I think this is an okay look. It's just him in a vest with some katanas. I think he has some guns on his side. Okay look. Not anything that necessarily screams Deadpool, so I think a C is okay for this. I think it's better than this next one. This guy. So this is Deadpool from the later part of the movie. He has laser eyes, these awful tattoos. The katanas coming out of his hands are like adamantium katanas, and his mouth is fused shut, which is ridiculous. So this guy is an F tier. I hate how he looks, and getting rid of the mouth for the mouth of, with the mouth is ridiculous. I do think the only good thing about that movie entirely is it showed us that Ryan Reynolds could play Deadpool. Like he has the right demeanor for it, the right sense of humor, stuff like that. So I think that's the only positive from that movie necessarily, in my opinion. Next, we have Deadpool's costume from his first movie, this guy. I think this is probably one of the best superhero costumes, especially for the time. He has these throwing knife holsters on his suit. The Deadpool symbol looks great. The costume just looks very comic accurate, which is appreciated. So I think because of that, this deserves S. They did an amazing job with the costume in this movie. They did an amazing job with all of the costumes in this movie. I think Negasonic Teenage Warhead looked great. Colossus looked great. All of the costumes so far in the Deadpool franchise. The Juggernaut from the second movie looked amazing. Now, the second movie doesn't necessarily have its own costume, but it does have a moment where he duct tapes his suit back together. This is such a low quality image, and I'm sorry, guys, but I couldn't find a better one. So, spoilers for Deadpool 2. Juggernaut tears Deadpool in half, and then he has to find a way to put his costume back together, so he uses duct tape. I think this is done off screen, which makes this costume better, in my opinion, because it's hilarious to me that he just duct taped everything back together because he didn't have a backup costume. I think that also deserves S, but underneath the original Deadpool costume. His last costume and his most recent costume is from Deadpool and Wolverine. It's this fella, which this looks very similar to his other costume. But I think the knee pads are a little bit different. It has a place for a knife. I don't think that was there. But I don't think they were red either. I think they might have been either a very dark red or a black. I think the symbol looks a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more flat. I think the other one had like beveled edges. And then he still has the place for his throwing knives and everything. But the main difference between this costume and the previous costumes is it is just a very bright red. It's a lot brighter of a color, which I think is a good choice, especially since he's transitioning to the MCU. But also because I think it looks a little bit closer to his comic book costume. So I really appreciate that. Next, we have Wolverine. This is his costume from X1, the first X-Men movie. I guess it's not called X1. I hate this costume. I think this looks bad. So it has the X-Men X's. That's fine. The weird buckle thing on his collar is weird. I don't like that. I don't like the zigzags on the side. I think this costume just overall looks really bad. This is probably the worst of his leather costumes, and I think this deserves a F tier because of that. Next up in the series of leather costumes, we have X2. So this looks a little bit better. It has the big X on the chest. The sides look like the tears, maybe. The X-Men logo there, and then some X logos on his collar. I'm not a big fan of these sleeves not being connected to the gloves, but that's okay. I think overall I just don't like the leather outfits. We're going to put this into C over with Wade there because it's still not good. I just don't like the black leather costumes for any of the X-Men, I don't think so. The last one is The Last Stand, which I think is the same costume just with a duller yellow, from what I can tell. It looks almost exactly the same, but that yellow just is not as bright and vibrant. So because of that, we're going to put that into D. I think the bright yellow looks better. Then we have the leather jacket Wolverine. This is just a brown leather jacket. It has the stripes on it. I think this is an okay look. I mean, I don't hate it. Uh, it just doesn't scream Wolverine to me. And because of that, we're also going to put this into C above the X2 costume because I really don't like the leather. Another costume that doesn't scream Wolverine is this lumberjack costume. I think this is from X-Men Origins. I think this is the scene where he's kind of like walking out in Canada. But not a huge fan of the lumberjack costume. It looks fine, but like I said, it also doesn't scream Wolverine. So I think because of that, we put that into C as well. Also from X-Men Origins, we have the classic tank top look. So this is a pretty iconic Wolverine look. It's just a white tank top, blue jeans, belt buckle. He has his dog tags on in this one. I think, honestly, decent look. And since it's so iconic, I think this deserves to go into A. I really do like this one. Then we have the Weapon X look. I think this might be from Days of Future Past. I think this was a flashback scene. So he has like the headgear, the wires running along his body. He has like holes in him from where he was injected and stuff. The claws are out. I do really like this look because it is very reminiscent of this comic book cover where he has the headgear, the wiring, and everything. This headgear is a lot bulkier, but I think it would have looked a little bit ridiculous on a live action Wolverine. But since I do really like this, I'm going to put it into B. It's cool. It's a nice shout out. They didn't keep it for very long. It's a very short scene. Then we have, I think this is also from Days of Future Past when he's in the 70s. This guy, I kind of dig this. He's wearing a brown leather jacket, this weird like patterned short. There's obviously a tank top underneath it, which is a nice nod to, tank top Wolverine. He has aviators on. It looks cool. It still doesn't scream Wolverine much, so I'm going to put it into B. I think it looks cooler than the other ones so far that don't scream Wolverine. And I'm fine with that. Continuing on with Days of Future Past, we have his suit from Days of Future Past. This guy. This is, I mean, it's a decent looking suit. It doesn't look much like a Wolverine suit, but I think it is better than all of the leather Wolverine suits. This is a very tactical suit. It looks like there's some armoring on his chest. It's a decent look. I think this can go into B, but like top of B. I do like it. It just also doesn't scream Wolverine, but I think it screams Wolverine better than these leather costumes farther down. Next from The Wolverine, I think this is maybe the only one from The Wolverine. We have the black suit. So the Wolverine takes place in Japan, and he wears this black suit for a decent chunk of the movie. I love this suit. It's just a nice black suit with like an overcoat, and I think it just looks sick. I do really like this outfit. And with the claws out, it just looks so cool. I'm going to put this top of A. This is almost an S tier for me. I'm considering putting it into S, but I think top of A is fine. Because it still doesn't scream Wolverine, but it is just such a cool suit. Next, we have what some people call the limo suit or the Uber suit, which is this guy. This is from Logan. And this is near the beginning of the movie when we meet him. He's driving a car for people. He is like an Uber driver. And I mean, it's an okay look. I think we can put this into B beside the leather jacket look. It's fine. It's not anything that jumps out to me, I don't think. And it also doesn't scream Wolverine to me either. I can obviously recognize it pretty easily because it is a pretty big part of the movie when he's wearing that suit, but I don't think it screams Wolverine necessarily. Then we have an injured Logan. He's wearing his tank top, a button up. I think this is a cool look. This is just such an iconic part of the movie too. It's closing in on the end of the movie. I think we can put this into A. I do like it. Then we have one of his most recent costumes. This is from Deadpool and Wolverine. And this is the first time we get to see him in a colorful suit, which is great. So it has the iconic yellow and blue. I do like that it has this X-Men symbol on the belt buckle. The whole shoulder cuffs, I don't know. I think that's what they're called. That's really cool. It's just a really solid looking suit, to be honest. I do wish it wasn't so blocky where this yellow is before it goes to the undersuit right there. But I do really like this. It looks great. I like the hair being kind of flared out, which is the case in a lot of these pictures. It's just a classic Wolverine thing. But it's just a very nice looking suit. And I like how brightly colored it is. I think this is an S tier. And then the last suit that we have on our tier list is also from Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the same suit, but it's sleeveless. So the shoulders are no longer there. The sleeve got torn off in a fight. It has bullet holes in it. This is a more battle damaged suit. I do love this suit. I like how it's gotten so dirty, and he kept the gloves on so he still has the metal rivets that his claws come out of, which is something that hasn't been on any of the other suits other than these two from Deadpool and Wolverine. So that's really cool to see because that's a feature they leave out a lot. There is a cool reveal with this suit later in the movie that I don't want to spoil for anybody who hasn't seen it. I think you guys should definitely go watch the movie, but I don't want to spoil anything. But I do love this look with a sleeveless suit. I think this goes above the duct tape Deadpool, but under the other two Deadpool suits because I just love those guys. There are some more Wolverine suits in the movie, but I don't want to spoil much. So there is like the brown and yellow suit, which I loved seeing, and they did such a good job with this suit. I wish they had gotten to use it for a little bit longer in the movie. That was really cool. And then there's some other cameo suits in there doing some uh, planar travel shenanigans. So I loved seeing all of the cameo suits. I think there's some really cool ones there, but I don't want to spoil much here. So we're not going to talk about them, but if you guys have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I think they did a great job with all of those. They just did a really good job with that. That is all of the Deadpool and Wolverine suits. If I'm forgetting any, let me know. If I got any of the movies wrong, also let me know because there's a decent chance I did. And if you have any opinions about this, whether they differ from mine or not, please leave a comment. I just like to hear what other people think about this kind of stuff. Other than that, if you did like the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to get updated when they are uploaded. I am planning to do a lot of tier list about suits. I really like talking about superhero suits. So I have done Spider-Man, Captain America, and now this one. So if you're interested in seeing them as they come out, please keep an eye on the channel because I'll be uploading a decent amount this month for this kind of tier list. before we launch into September, where I start doing only spooky games, spooky videos, stuff like that. So, otherwise, I hope everybody is having a great day. And until next time, peace.